Greetings, beautiful ones, and welcome. This is Nazanin Marashian, Love and Heart, Art, Deep Dive into Tools for Empowerment and Healing. In this episode, I want to share with you one of the most potent tools for healing trauma I have experienced to date, and that is the harnessing the power of visualization through the modality of hypnosis. I am by no means an expert on trauma therapy, and I make no claims as such. What I want to share is my own embodied experience and tools that worked for me. This share is an anecdotal account of my own journey with trauma. Trauma in its various forms can have a deep impact, leaving lasting emotional and psychological scars. And those who have experienced trauma, which is just about everybody, can attest to this. Traditional approaches to trauma healing often involve talk therapy, medication, or other evidence-based interventions. For myself personally, none of these traditional approaches worked for me. I remember calling out to the universe one day in desperation, give me something that will work immediately. I didn't want to be in despair a moment longer, and the thought of sitting in a psychologist's office for 5 to 10 more sessions to work through this major trauma of my life that I had experienced through the flooding and many other events, it was too much. And as it goes, the moment I asked the question, I received the answer. And what came across my search was visualization as a tool for healing trauma through the modality of hypnosis. It was very powerful and very immediate. Visualization techniques, if you are not aware, tap into the power of the mind and imagination, allowing an individual to process and transform their traumatic experiences. It's like rewriting the movie of your life in your mind's eye. And with hypnosis, that is exactly how I experienced it. It is about tapping into the subconscious mind and re-imaging my lived experience without needing to actually revisit the trauma or the trigger. It was truly a unique and very expedient process in my own journey into the healing of my many traumatic experiences, all of which had left me feeling super anxious, powerless, depressed, and incapable to open and to be trusting. I will share a little bit later on about the actual hypnosis sessions, but I want to spend just a little bit of time here to understand what is trauma and visualization. When we talk about trauma and visualization, what are we talking about? Okay, so how I've experienced trauma, and many can attest to this also, is that it is a deeply rooted emotional response to a distressing event that is characterized by an intense fear and sense of helplessness and loss of control. And these intense feelings then get trapped in the body-mind and push our nervous systems into fight and flight mode, into self-preservation mode. Visualization, on the other hand, is a mental process that involves creating vivid mental images or scenarios. By combining these two concepts, one can then use visualization techniques to engage their mind in a purposeful and mindful healing manner. And it is very potent for rewriting the trauma story. That has been my experience. And that is the foundation of the hypnosis modality that I had experienced. It was life-changing. seriously, in 3 sessions over about a 4-month period, had completely turned my life around. Many people use hypnosis for various things. I've heard it used for quitting smoking or weight loss, but I had never considered it for trauma healing. And, well, it is the same concept of tapping into the subconscious mind and re-imaging the trigger. And visualization is very powerful because, well, life is mental, right? Whenever or whatever we think about, we bring about. Whatever we imagine gets transformed and transmuted. If a lived experience has created a wound, then using visualization for healing is very powerful. There are lots of practices out there that do this, not just with hypnosis. If anyone knows the work of Dr. Joe Dispenza, for example, on coherence meditation, which he uses for healing the physical body, well, it's the same idea. But here we're working on the emotional body where trauma is trapped. Visualization and the hypnosis I experienced is very safe and held in a controlled environment. It's not like what you see on TV shows where people are hypnotized and they lose their ability to control their actions and they make you walk like a chicken or something. It's not like that. That's a major misconception. Throughout the whole process, I was very much aware of what was happening. I was put in a theta state, a hypnotic state, where I could access the deeper layers of my own subconscious mind and access the process of then where my trauma was locked in and then unlock it and release it. And this was done by creating an imaginary, very safe space, very secure, very comfortable container where the core emotion I was feeling, which was anxiety, could be rewired without the need to revisit the actual events that caused the anxiety. It was a very gentle process, which is so different from talk therapy, because in talk therapy, retelling what happened, and in that retelling is also the reliving. Well, that's how I've experienced it, so I didn't ever find it useful. How to move forward is what I got from hypnosis. It was a very gentle way of rewriting the narrative. And within a traumatic experience, it does leave you feeling powerless and trapped within the story. That's undeniable. We are reliving it over and over. So visualization offers an opportunity to then rewrite the narrative and reclaim personal agency. It's not just about visualizing alternative scenarios and outcomes. It can be like that. And you can go back in and reimagine the story. That's helpful, yes. But the hypnosis I received was a bit different. It was so much more about creating a platform for a whole new chapter, a whole new book to be written in the life of Nazanin, and a completely new season. This process helped me to regain a sense of control and fostered a deep belief in my ability to overcome adversity. Because it was like this journey from where I have been to where I am stuck and how I can become unstuck in a future timeline, all through visualization. The emotional regulation and then release that created was the fast tracking of the healing I received for myself. Trauma often results in an accumulation of intense emotions that can be difficult to process and release. And we can get stuck in the why. Why did this happen? Why did that event, or why did that person do this, that, and the other, the why. There is no answer to the why. And this stuck feeling and the accumulation of multiple traumas that I had experienced, I couldn't release on my own, even with all of the toolkit that I have. It was so deeply trapped within the emotional body and the physical body. And I talk about the body-mind, and certainly somatic modalities are really good as well. So dancing, tapping, shaking, all of the above. But in this episode, I want to talk about visualization, because for me, I found that so expedient in really helping to identify and express those emotions within that safe container and releasing. So visualization of an emotion can be a dissociative thing as well. So feeling your emotions as a color, as a shape or an image, detaching it from the overwhelm that is felt in the body. That is then linked with the trauma story. So removing it out of the body in the mind's eye promotes a really heightened sense of emotional regulation and an enablement of the gradual release of this pent-up emotion. It was very powerful. I remember holding on to such intense anger, the thoughts and the distortion of the intensity of that emotion that was trapped in my body. It was excruciatingly painful. And being able to externalize it visually, giving it a shape, color, and just getting it out of my system in that visual way was really helpful. And I really can't share enough of my own transformation in this modality with you all. And if you are feeling a resonance with this, I invite you to go out there and find a hypnosis practitioner. It's a very safe, gentle, and powerful work. And you must allow time for integration. As I mentioned, I did 3 sessions over a couple of months. So leaving space for integration and then transformation is part of the healing process as well. Visualization allows you to work through your trauma gradually, and yet at the same time it's very quick. So it's an interesting movement, because you're not looping the story of what happened. Rather, you are creating a new thread altogether through visualization of strength, resilience, and growth. It's a very versatile and empowering tool. Well, that's all I have to share about that one. I hope that helped some of you. I know when I share these stories in person, many people find that that is an answer for them as well, when they've been through lots of different traumatic events and complex traumas. As I said, I'm by no means an expert, and this share was my personal experience. And thank you so much for listening and receiving this share. It is with a degree of vulnerability too that I share it. It's not easy to talk about our wounding and our perceived dark times. But being on the other side of it has really given me a lot of inner strength and wisdom. So I am thankful for all that has been lived and what is yet to come. And sending you all so much love and so much strength. And until next time, beautiful ones, this is Nazanin Marashian, Love and Heart Art.